They set it up, and they've carried through.
Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
An advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so
Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm Paulie D. That's Chris Katsopoulos. Let me kill the tunes.
I got the double Yinglings going tonight.
Oh, I drank some Yingling this weekend.
The black and tan and the regular.
We got a lot to do, man. We missed a week. It's good to be back. I got some hockey running to keep you updated on some highlights and goals and scoring and all kinds of fun stuff.
And the Leafs are tied 2-2 with Ottawa right now. The Battle of Ontario.
Yeah, well, the Leafs shouldn't be tied with anybody. But we'll talk about it.
Listen, it's still the Battle of Ontario. Just remember that.
Well, all right. I remember that. I think I need a beer. So what I'm going to do is this. We got a couple of really big topics. Obviously, first and foremost, I mean, our condolences to Adam Johnson's family.
Absolutely.
Just a tragic, horrible situation in England. But I do have some video. I am going to run the video. I'm going to grab a cold beer. It's a 9-minute video. I don't plan on playing it all. I might try to chop through it a little bit. And then Katsi and I will kind of evaluate the video and see and get the opinions, what we think transpired here. So, this is a very delicate subject. So, obviously, if we lost Chris, we'll try to get him back. If stuff like this upsets you, then you might not want to watch this part. Again, this is coming out of, there he is. I don't know why I lost you so quickly.
I did that. That's old man playing with things he shouldn't play with.
All right. So here is the video, and then we'll go from there.
So today saw the opening of the inquest in Sheffield into the tragic death of ice hockey player Adam Johnson. Firstly, I'll discuss what the coroner said during today's hearing, and then I'll take you through what the inquest process actually involves. A coroner has offered her sincere condolences to the family and friends of Nottingham Panthers ice hockey player Adam Johnson, who died after sustaining a serious injury during a match watched by thousands. The 29-year-old American was playing for the Panthers against Sheffield Steelers on Saturday when he was hit in the throat by an opponent's skate, causing a fatal injury. On Friday, Sheffield senior coroner Tanika Rawdon opened and adjourned an inquest into Johnson's death at Sheffield's Medico Legal Centre. Mrs. Rawdon confirmed personal details about the player, including that he was from Minnesota in the United States, and gave very brief details of how he died. She said that initial investigations had found that Mr. Johnson was seriously injured. He was taken by ambulance to the Northern General Hospital in Sheffield, where he died later that day as a result of the injury sustained. He was identified by his fiancée, Ryan Wolfe. She said inquiries into the death were continuing. The coroner adjourned the inquest until January 26th, but stressed that this would be for a review and not for the full hearing. Mrs. Rawdon concluded the 4-minute-long hearing by saying she wanted to take this opportunity to offer to his family, his friends, and all those who knew him, my sincere condolences at this time. Okay, so what exactly is an inquest? What I'm going to do now is take you through basically what the inquest involves, and I'm also going to leave a link to this full document down in the video description box below. So the first question, what is an inquest? An inquest is an investigation into a death which appears to be due to unknown, violent, or unnatural causes, designed to find out who the deceased was and where, when, and how. So basically, the coroner determines who the deceased person was, where they died, when they died, and how they died. So now let's take a look at the inquest process step by step. First of all, you have the reportable death which occurs, and it's referred to the coroner. The coroner considers information and decides as to whether an inquest is required. The coroner can either request more information and opens a preliminary investigation, or decides there and then that an inquest is required. The inquest is opened and adjourned for further investigations. So clearly that's what's happening here with the police investigation currently ongoing. Number 3. If the investigation or inquest is opened, usually a post-mortem examination, also called an autopsy, is performed to establish the probable medical cause of death. Number 4. If the post-mortem shows an inquest is not necessary after all, the family are informed and the process concludes. For example, if the post-mortem determines the person died of natural causes. Number 5. If an inquest is necessary, the coroner reviews and decides 1. If a referral to police CPS is needed for possible criminal prosecution. 2. If no criminal issues, fixes timetable and calls for evidence. 3. If needed, arranges a pre-inquest review. All interested persons, including family, are invited to discuss relevant issues, review evidence, identify witnesses required, and to fix a timetable. Number 6. When investigations are...
Right. So I'm going to pause it there. Obviously, you saw the contact, 3 or 4 times you're going over it. So this video is obviously talking about where England is right now. And I think it's important for everyone to understand, was this a criminal act? A lot of discussion. Was this a criminal act? Is this murder? What is this? What's the intent? There's a lot of discussion here. First of all, again, condolences to the family. Nobody ever wants to talk about this, but I think the way you do Adam justice here is to really kind of break this down, evaluate the situation, and make sure that people understand. I'll just put it plain and simple. Do I think this was a malicious intent to injure someone? I don't. Do I believe that this was an ignorant attempt to stop a player from making another move? I do. I think what's his name? Matt Petgrave, I believe his name is, was the defenseman there.
Sheffield Steelers.
Yeah, I believe, as I watched it, I probably watched 45 minutes of this video, broke it down in every which way, and there's more videos, and I plan on probably putting some of them on the page. But I found this one interesting because they're going through what they call the inquest, or what's going to happen here, because I believe there's going to be a major court case here. But more importantly, like I said, you look at the video, he's breaking down the angle, and then Adam makes a great move into the zone. He comes across the ice instead of keeping going down the board line, comes across the ice. And Petgrave is stuck. So what does he do? It looks like he sticks his foot out. That's an intentional move to stick his foot out. There was no contact really with the other player. And at first, everyone thought that he was making a check into one player and his leg whipped up, but that wasn't the case here. The case was his stick never even moved. His body stayed in the position and his leg whipped around, and he killed him there. So do I believe that this is murder in the first degree? No. But is it manslaughter? I believe it should be, to be honest with you. This was just, and I know Chris is going to break it down too, but he made a great point. It's not a hockey move. This is an intent to impede the progress of that player. And that's what it is. And in this case, it took a man's life. So I'll kind of turn it over to Kotz, let him state his opinions, and then we'll kind of move a little bit further into this.
Well, I didn't have to look at it very often. I only looked at it a couple times, and I knew right away it was not a hockey move. And anybody who calls that a hockey move is full of shit. Period. Plain and simple. The situation, the way it happened is Petgrave kind of rubs with a Nottingham player in front of Adams or Johnson, I should say, but he definitely stuck his leg up, Paulie. It's not a hockey move at all. I don't care what anybody tells me. I've been around the game, played the game for 31 years of my life. You know what I mean? When I'm starting at how many, whatever age I started at, you counted up people. I've watched the game. I've seen the incidents of people getting cut by skates, like Richard Zednick in Florida, yep. I believe. I was still playing when Clint Malarchuk got his throat cut in Buffalo. I was also around when I was a teenager watching a player, Kim Crouch, a goaltender with the Markham, I believe, Waxers Junior League. I was at the game where his throat got cut by a skate. They were all accidents, every one of those ones. This one here, I agree with you that I don't think he intended to slice a man's throat, but he did intend to slow him down by sticking that leg out. Mm-hmm. And there's no reasonable explanation for anybody that's ever played the game or watched the game to tell me that that's a fucking hockey move. It's not. It's not a hockey move at all. He tried to stop the guy with his leg. Did he try to kill the man with his blade? No. I totally agree with that. But in today's world, Paulie, you guys got to put this all in perspective. I totally agree with that. I think there's going to be a lot of ramifications on this one. I think there's probably going to be charges. That's my gut guess. I think the family's going to sue somebody. You know, Petgrave, the league, the player, the organization, whatever. You got to wonder, though, sometimes, Paul, even though this one's a little bit odd compared to the other I mentioned, all the years that hockey's been on this earth, this doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. Whether
it's an accident or not an accident. And it's really weird, for this to be in the sunlight the way it is right now. I feel for the obviously the family, and Johnson himself. I mean, geez, I don't think in his lifetime, he'd ever thought one day he's going to go out on the ice and have his throat slashed, by a skate. So I'm going to leave it at this. I believe it was not a hockey move. I believe there's going to be repercussions, and I think you're seeing some of the repercussions already falling. The league's talking about putting throat guards all over the place now. That the elite league in England is demanding it now that everybody wears a throat guard. So I think you're going to see a lot of players. In fact, there's been a couple of NHL players that right away started wearing them. I think it's going to be a tragic thing. It's probably going to end up being a good thing for a lot of hockey players in the future. How's that?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Listen, you and I, we've been doing this show a while. We've talked everything hockey. I don't think we've ever really covered a death in the probably the 15 years we've been doing this, man. So, I just feel like the only thing we can do, and the only thing that the NHL and everyone else could do, is obviously the standard here is, and I heard a couple of hockey experts kind of break it down. The standard is here. You're playing a game, and you're giving it all that you have, but you also have to think. You have to think. What are the consequences? And in this situation, like you said, it wasn't a hockey move. It wasn't a good move at all. I mean, I don't know why anybody would throw. They all know that they got blades on their feet, so to throw your foot up on any player, to impede the progress, because that's what I see here. He throws his leg up to impede the progress on.
Oh, there's no question he did that. There's no question that he did that.
Yeah. So
anybody with eyesight can see that he tried to stop Adam Johnson with his leg. There's no question.
So, like you
he
said,
wasn't off balance. There's no such thing of being, he was off balance because he nudged the other player. That's bullshit.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. This wasn't a freak accident in the sense that there was a deliberate intent to impede the progress of the player. The freak of it is that the neck got cut so bad that it killed the player.
Yeah, that part, that's again that part there. I think it's a double-edged sword. I hate to say it, double-edged sword. That's a bad thing to say, but I'm going to say it. I don't think he intended to kill the guy.
Right, exactly. So, got to be responsible out there. But again, total condolences to Adam Johnson's family. This is not an easy thing to.
Hey, Barry, what's up out there? Richard Mason and Matt Buse, they're going at it big time. 2 Ranger fans, but not. There's a question whether one's a real one or not. That's a good question, Barry. You think that the medical care overseas at the arena like they do in the States? I want y'all to look up Kim Crouch, the goaltender. The name spell Crouch, like it sounds just like it's pronounced Crouch. I was at the game. The trainer for his team name was Joe Piccinini. Was skilled. It's a Greek boy or whatever, Irish guy. I can't remember. He was skilled enough and understood the tragic cut that Kim Crouch got. He stuck his fingers inside the cut and pinched off all the arteries, the aorta, whatever the hell it was, and kept his fingers pinching so the blood wouldn't go flying out until the paramedics got there. That's a true story, guys. So
it's good stuff, guys.
I don't know. Like, is everybody capable of doing that? Considers themselves a trainer, or you know what I mean? I hope they are. I mean, there was a couple years ago there, Barry's asking the question. The Russian player died on the bench. Remember? What a New York Ranger guy. A draft choice for the New York Rangers. I can't remember his name.
The kid.
I can't remember his name. She was Shapovalov or something like that. I can't remember.
I want to say Kravchuk, but that's not it.
No, that's another guy. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah, he died on the bench. So I don't know. That's a good question, though. That's a really good question. Is everybody prepared in any pro league or amateur league, for that matter, for a situation like this? I'm sure that things are going to be ramped up a little bit. That's for sure.
Yeah. They're going to have to do a little work. Absolutely. So it'll be interesting. And the reason I picked that video is because it'll be interesting to see what determinations come of this. On the front of legal.
We'll keep on it. We'll keep on it. We'll let everybody know what happens in the future.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move forward now. We're gonna move forward. That's it. Sharpanov.
Sure. That's it. Exactly. I wanted to say Shapanov or something like that.
Yeah. You guys still got your memories. That's awesome.
Anyway. Richard Mason, right on the dot there.
Mikey boy.
Listen, I want to get into something here. Let's stir the pot a little bit here. How about all the cheap shots that's going on in the NHL too right now?
Lots of them.
A couple of cheap shots out there in the last week or so, and one of them happened to a New York Ranger. We'll talk about that. But first, I want to talk about Brad Marchand. What he did to Tim Liljegren in Toronto last week, and got away with it, and at least brought in Ryan Reeves and Bertuzzi and all these guys to make, and Domi too. Domi's one of the guys that's supposed to be the physical part of that team. to take care of that stuff, and nothing happened to Marchand. To me, it was a cheap shot move by Marchand, which you can go look it up, people. He's got about 2,000 of them already in his career. Great talent, but still a cheap shot artist, and he gets away with it. We would have put him in a body bag back in our day in his first year. It would have been over for him. But these days, they don't do shit to him. Well, it's true. It's true. They don't do shit to him. It was a cheap move by Marchand. He seems to get away with it all the time. Now, Reeves has come out and made his comments about it, that there's going to be a next time and all that. And so we'll have to wait and see about that. But I just think, how the referees missed that. He's standing right there, Paulie. Go look. All you got to do is look at it. Once he got tangled up with a stick, he said, okay, it's in there. Might as well use it. Boom. He took the guy's legs out into the boards. Right. Now, I've seen tap calls made by officials in this league that are absolutely atrocious, and nothing was called on this play. No reaction from the Toronto Maple Leafs whatsoever. Okay? I don't care what you see. He had 2 periods and all that crap to go after him. They could have done it. But I also understand it was a close game. So, really, are you going to go after him when it's a close game, or you're not going to go after him when it's a close game? I don't think so, but all the talk is about how the Leafs are going to be tougher this year and protect their players, and nothing really happened that night. And the second one, I'm going to do both of them, Paulie, then you can make your comments on this. I don't care what people say. Sebastian Aho did not try to get out of the way with his knee-on-knee collision with Adam Fox. And I told you last year, Sebastian Aho is a talented hockey player. But he's got a little Alex Ovechkin in him, a little cheap shot artist at times. And if you watch that video closely, he kind of glides that knee out. Doesn't take much, Paulie. Doesn't take much, but maybe an inch and a half. But he moves it out there and makes contact. Kind of like Ovechkin did against the Pittsburgh Penguins about 8-9 years ago to one of his comrades from Russia and tore his knee up. So at least the Rangers tried to address that. Trouba tried to fight him. Even Alex Lafreniere grabbed him by his shirt. Nothing happened. But this cheap shot shit from these stars has got to stop.
Yeah.
Simple. It's got to stop. They can't continue to get away with it. You can't just keep letting them do what they want to do. Ovechkin's one of the worst at it. His whole career's been made off of that crap, in my opinion. You got to stop this stuff. Let the grunt guys take care of all the bullshit on the ice. Let the grunt guys do all the cheap, dirty work. But when your stars start to do it and they get away with it over and over and over again, like Ovechkin and Marchand, it's not good for hockey. I don't care what anybody tells me. Yeah. That's it. You go ahead and give me your comments now, big boy.
You know what?
And don't you dare defend the big ape.
I know I'm not going to defend anybody. I'm going to say that as good as Marchand can be,
he's an awesome player when he's not doing this stuff.
That cheap stuff, man. That just gets my goat, man. I tell you, I gotta be honest with you. It's guys like him that you want to see, have to answer for the cheap shit that they do. And I've watched, and you've said it. It's not only Alex Ovechkin. I've seen guys like Malkin. I've seen players with really high caliber. Even elite capabilities in the NHL just do real stupid shit. Like, at the end of the day, why a guy like Marchand hasn't had to pay the price, I'm really kind of shocked. And to hear what Ryan Reeves said, I was so disappointed. Well, I didn't get a shift. I couldn't get on the ice with him. But
the part that bothered me is I was actually watching that game because I got the free package this year from DirecTV.
Yeah.
Because they lost the football package, so they offered it to me. So I was actually watching the game, and Bertuzzi was laughing with him as he was coming off the ice. They played together for a little bit last year, Bertuzzi and Marchand. Why are you laughing at this little penguin look-alike?
Yeah.
If you're friends with each other, you're friends off the ice, but not on the ice.
Especially when you're doing stupid shit. You're doing dirty stuff. I just can't believe Marchand hasn't had to pay the price, man.
Because he's been protected by the rules in the league, Paulie. I mean, you and I have been beating this dead horse for how many years now?
I would have ran him so far into the boards by now.
I'll give you a great example. Wayne Gretzky, did he ever pull a cheap shot really like these guys?
No.
No. Mary Lemieux, did he ever do that?
No.
Guy Lafleur?
No.
I'll give you examples of high-end skilled players. And yet these high-end skilled players in the last, 10, 15 years get away with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the league doesn't want you to fight anymore. They don't want you to do this. They don't want you to do that. They don't want policing during a game. They don't want the all-out brawls that they used to have and all this crap. You know what I mean? They don't want that stuff. And that's why Marchand gets away with it. He knows it. He knows he is never going to get grabbed and ragdolled by a Bobby Probert-type fighter. He knows that. That's why he continues to do it.
But I'm surprised he hasn't been rammed into the third row in a body check or just driving him into the boards.
They're not the players of today are not built for that, Paulie. That's the answer right there.
It's true.
They don't have that mentality. They don't have that mentality anymore. There's very few that are like that. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. No.
Like if he pulled that stuff, I'll give you a great example. If you think he's going to take Ben Wilson's legs out when Ben's in his prime with the Philadelphia Flyers, that'll be the last time he ever skates in the National Hockey League. Because I know Ben. I know Ben. Ben wouldn't give a shit about the NHL rules. Ben wouldn't give a shit about how much money it's going to cost him, how many suspensions it's going to take. You just tried to end my career by taking my legs out.
So now I'm going to end your career.
Big Ben with that big red hair, when he started frothing from the mouth, Marchand would be in deep shit. Trust me.
I miss that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a barbarian. Maybe I'm just a savage. But I miss that stuff, man. I do.
There's a time and a place for it, as far as I'm concerned. Still, as much as the league wants to pull away from that stuff, there's still a time and a place for it.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned.
I agree 100%, man.
I don't think there's a time and a place for you that every time somebody gets hit, though, you got to go fight the guy. You got to turn around and fight somebody. That's bullshit. I mean, there's so many stupid things that are going on with the league. It's just like amazing. You let Marchand get away with that crap, but then everybody that makes a good, honest, clean check has to turn around and defend himself.
Right. Yeah.
Anyhow.
And
what do you think about the Fox thing?
Yeah, I mean, you stated it. Aho did everything he could to impede the progress of Adam Fox, and
Fox didn't have the puck. He didn't have the puck to start with.
He used his leg to do it. There's no doubt about it. You can see that he extended his leg out, and he wanted to trip up Adam Fox, and that's what he did. And why he's not having to pay for it, why he wasn't fined or suspended for a kneeing incident, I don't know, man. So we talk about they stand behind the rules and this, that, and the other thing, and here it is. This guy's still skating, and Adam Fox is sitting on the sidelines. No repercussions. So what's going to stop him from doing it again?
I remember watching him in the playoff series with the Rangers. Was it last year or a year ago or whatever? I can't remember. But
yeah,
he was doing a little cheap shot during the playoffs too. I did mention to you as great a player. He's an excellent player, got a lot of talent, but he's kind of like Kucherov a little bit. They both got a little dark side to them when they want to get a little cheap shot going. They both play the same style, though Kucherov's a better player than overall. I'm not going to deny that. But you know what I'm saying. They all get away with stuff like today, the stars today, because the rules protect them and they have no fear of getting their heads kicked in. Plain and simple.
Very true. Very, very true. All right. Cuts, man. I don't know. There's a couple of different things I was going to cover. I actually had the website up, and then I took it down because we were
What site
talking.
was? What was that?
There was a couple of articles I was looking at.
Let's talk about Paul missed the net, eating his words on TNT last night. Paul
What?
missed the net. Paul pissing his pants. Whatever his name is. Who's the real Fugazi now, Paul?
Yeah.
You
Don't
fucking-
even call him Paul. I hate sharing the same name with him. So just call him. What did I call him? Biz Shitty.
Let's call him Pauline.
Call him Biz Shitty. But I wasn't even going to give him a second. Listen, he ate
I
his
know,
words.
but I had no choice. I couldn't. I didn't watch it live. I caught it on the New York Post today. I read it,
Yeah.
and sure, he had balls to have a mea culpa calling it. What's a realsy, anyways? Or the Rangers are realsies now. They're not fugazis. They're realsies.
Yeah.
But notice how he did it, right? Who was on the panel last night? No Lundqvist, no Gretzky, just Anson Carter.
Yeah.
Part-time Ranger.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I don't even want to talk about the guy anymore. He's just but he did what he did say, and I tell you what, you better watch your back when you're in New York. And he said it. He said, "Oh, well, maybe I won't get shanked now in New York." Well, I highly doubt it, pal. But anyway, I don't think it's safe for you to walk the streets of New York with the Ranger fans.
Well, he might be okay in certain parts of Manhattan, but if he gets into the rougher parts, maybe not.
But yeah, I mean, the guy's a turd. The guy has no class. He's got nothing. He's got nothing to offer the game of hockey, and it's a shame that I don't know what was it on TNT last night. It's a shame that anybody.
Unfortunately, I had to watch the game on TNT because there was no other broadcast. But when it came, as soon as the period ended, I changed the channel.
Yeah,
there's no way I'm watching the in between garbage.
Yeah, he's classless, and I'm just over that turd.
I just had to bring it up. That's all.
I know, and he ate his words finally. Oh, they're the realsies. He can't even speak English correctly.
Realsies. What is a realsy?
It's just
that's not a fugazi. How do you say fugazi or fugazi?
Fugazis.
Okay, that's a real Italian word, right?
It's a dialect.
It's a slang.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But a realsy? What's a realsy?
Yeah, it's just him being stupid. And that's what surprises me is that it is slang, so maybe they're blowing it off. But any Italian will tell you that if somebody calls you a fugazi or fuguzzi, it's not a nice. It means, believe it or not, it's a reference to it's supposed to be faggot. If you want to know the truth,
you've insulted me big time.
That's the reference of a fugazi. You're a fugazi.
Oh,
that's what the reference is.
Maybe we should bring that up to TNT.
So how this guy's still walking the earth, I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna
let's move on. You're right. He's done.
The guy's a turd. Okay.
That's it.
And I would have loved to cross-check him last night. But anyway, I'll move forward because I digress once I get fired up. All right. We got here 9:04. I got this much beer left.
I got my second one going.
We got to talk Rangers, man. There's a lot to talk about. I missed two. This is week 2. So I want to kind of scale back. Great road.
Unbelievable road to 5-0.
Chris Kreider is on an absolute tear. The deflection king of the world right now.
Your boy Panarin's second overall in points in the league right now.
I was going to talk about it. Don't worry. I'm going to get there. I got to tell you, man. And I guess we could start there. I got to tell you, and I've said this probably 5 times in the last 2 weeks. I love the fact that he's not on a line with like Zibanejad and he's not looking to feed everybody anymore. And he's playing more. Now, I get it. But he's playing more north-south hockey than I've ever seen him play. He's going towards the net. Yes, he's going to make those silly passes from time to time. But his creativity, his hands, and right now on the line, even last night's line, he's going to the net. He's taking the puck to the net. And I'm going to raise my hand. I'm going to eat some words here. I actually think that Panarin with Lafreniere, I think it helps Panarin to make better decisions on the ice. And I think Lafreniere, this is what Lafreniere needs to grow. I've seen a better game out of him. Now, obviously, is he finding the back of the net at the rate that we'd like him? He's doing all right this year. But I think he's thinking the game better. I think he's showing a lot more confidence. So this might be the shot in the arm, man, that this kid has needed the entire time. I won't say that, he's the next, Jack Hughes, but I'm seeing a progression from this kid that there was times where I gave up on him. I'm going to be honest.
He was great last night on the forecheck, too.
I thought he was very good. I thought he had a very strong game. And I think he's progressing playing with Panarin. I'd like to see that a constant. I will jump back, though, and say I feel the opposite with Capo Caco. I really just don't know what to say anymore. There's times where the kid has a lot of strength in the half boards, the quarter, down low. He's strong enough to hold the puck. But I'm not seeing what I want out of this kid. I don't see the burn. I don't see the desire to drive the net. I just don't see. He's the second guy came, and he was the guy after Jack Hughes. He was the second pick overall, man. And at the time of that draft, I remember it was like 1A, 1B. They were very high on Kako.
Well, Kako had a body that was ready for the NHL, where Jack Hughes didn't quite have it yet.
Right.
But the skill level between the two of them is night and day.
Oh,
right
cool.
now. You can tell.
I wanted to say, and I'll break it down in a lot of different ways, and I want to talk about that Minnesota game because it really showed a lot. And, I know people get down on when, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to the New York Rangers, for the most part, I'm a pessimist. I've been watching this team a long time. I've had a lot of heartbreak like a lot of other Ranger fans. I want them to win. So I want to be the Bill Belichick of hockey and be like, okay.
Well, you don't want to be Bill Belichick right now.
Yeah.
Take that fucking
I want them to finish every check, every play, every minute, every save, every game, just because if they're perfect, they're going to win. So I will say this. I don't know Cots last night, and then I heard Laviolette, and I scratched my head, and you got to help me with this. I'm going to ask you right now. I'm not sure what the fuck Blake Wheeler's doing on the first line. I just don't get this. Okay, I guess they're still giving him a grace period. He's slow. He's behind the play. I'm sorry. I don't care what I'm done with the fucking experiment, if I'm being honest. If anybody deserves to go on that fucking top line with Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad, it's Will Cooley. That's how I feel right now. I believe he deserves that. He has fucking played his heart out. His game, his technical part of his game is fantastic. I watch him every shift of every game. The kid takes the body whenever possible. He doesn't really make any stupid mistakes at all. He looks confident and comfortable out there. His hands are good. His feet are good. He finishes checks. He takes checks. The kid has got the game. And I think he deserves a right to get on that first line because, to be honest with you, Kako wasn't doing it. So they moved Blake Wheeler up. don't understand this. I'm done with the Blake Wheeler experiment. I really am.
Well, I can't disagree with you. I think he's having obviously a really hard time. You got to remember he's 37, 38 years old, and I think they're trying everything they can to get him going. Okay, that's management side of it by moving him up there and stuff like that. But it's an experiment right now, Paulie, and right now I get your passion about it, and I understand, but I don't think they're going to make any rash decision quite yet on Wheeler because the fact that they're 9-2-1. Think about it. I mean, it's not, you don't want to disrupt things that, with quick decisions right away. I do agree with you. He looks kind of slow out there right now and all that stuff. But I want to get back to Lafreniere and Panarin. The goal that Panarin scored last night, Lafreniere did great work behind the net. He actually took the puck away from two players and fed Panarin in front of the net. He is getting his chances. He is skating better. He's heading to the net because even the goal that Trocheck scored to start the game, that goalie cheated on Lafreniere because Lafreniere was going right to the net. Mm-hmm. That's why I went off the post off the shoulder in, just because he cheated a little.
Yeah.
Kakko, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm still hoping out for him, but right now the production's not there. He handles the puck well along the boards, the perimeter. It's the gut that he can't handle it.
Yeah. He
can't handle it in the dirty areas, which is in the slot area in front of the net. That's where nothing's coming from there.
Right.
Him. It's all on the perimeter, Paulie, all the time. And he's struggling. There's no question about it. Where Lafreniere, first overall compared to a second overall, there's really no difference to me. Right now, Lafreniere is becoming a productive player for the New York Rangers. Is he? I think I said this here last show. He's never going to be that Jack Hughes type player. He's not going to be a Patrick Kane type player when they were young and first picks overall. It's not going to happen, guys. He doesn't have that.
Right.
He doesn't have that kind of speed and elusiveness. But he's got good hands. He knows the game. He thinks the game. He doesn't shy away from the physicality all the time like some players do.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
Putting him with Panarin, like you said, is like a godsend right now. And I hope he continues to take advantage of that. Because Panarin's going to play no matter what. It don't matter where you put him. He's going to play a lot.
Yeah.
It's up to you now to solidify yourself with that. Be his winger.
Right.
And I don't mean just be his winger going to a bar. I mean winger on the ice. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
All that stuff there. Cooley, I told you about him. I wanted to see him more last year personally, but we couldn't bring him up. I believe what I'm seeing in him right now, and I'll go on a limb, but it's not really a limb to me because just because I couldn't do it, as good as some of these guys did in my day or these guys today, doesn't mean I didn't know the game and know what one player has or doesn't have. Cooley is a Chris Kreider. Except one thing, he handles the puck way, way better. He's got Kreider's speed. He's bigger than Kreider overall, like height-wise. And he's got hands, and he's tough, and he can skate. Everything Kreider did when he first got here.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, want to see him, like you said, get a little more opportunities. When the power play ain't working, they're starting to put him back out there on the second power play, but they only get like 20, 30 seconds worth. Let him bide his time. Kreider's still the number one left winger on the team. You know what I mean? He's scoring goals still and still producing like a top player should. But Cooley right now is going to be a star one day for the New York Rangers. Hopefully, he lasts a long time there. I love his game. I told you about him. I love his game. He's got everything you want. We could use about two more up front on the forwards, and maybe one of him on the defense when it comes to the physicality. How's that?
I just, like I said, man, I watch him every shift that he's on. I'm always looking for number 50.
You see how fast he comes back on the back
Yeah,
check?
I mean, the guy, I'm just so impressed with his game. And you can see how well he thinks the game. He's very simple in his approach. He's very methodical in his approach. He knows the game. He thinks it well. I got to tell you, man, I am so impressed with him. I texted you last night. I've been texting you about him. I'm just so impressed with him. I really am. And I tell you what, I agree with you 100%. I think that he is Chris Kreider 1.0 or 2.0, if that would be, because he does have a better hands. I think his hands are much better. I think he can handle the puck better. I think he can stick handle and pass better. And I think when he gets his opportunities, man, he's gonna light the fucking lamp. This kid, I think he's a 30-goal scorer for the hockey club, really. And I think I said this in the last show. To me, he's the modern day with a hint of the old fashioned, like Brendan Shanahan. He's that power forward that has hands, and I just he's very good in every part of the ice. If you watch,
I'll take it one step further. I actually think he's a better puck handler than Shanahan was in his day.
Yeah.
Shanahan was more of a Brett Hull type player. He was a power forward, but he was looking for that spot to be fed.
Sure.
Shanahan wasn't the guy carrying the puck through center ice and trying to go around and make moves. Cooley tries to make moves on people. You know what I'm saying? He takes the puck from center ice and tries to get around defensemen, where Shanahan never really did that stuff.
Right. I just think he's a modern day power forward.
And they better let him progress as he should. You know what I mean? Give him the time he should that he deserves. And I think a lot of understood that. He's been saying nothing but good things about him since training camp.
Yeah, he said he's earned the way. He's earned his way. Absolutely.
He's got 3 goals, which is pretty good for a guy who doesn't play first line, second line. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice little thing to add to the team right now, especially the way Panarin's playing right now, the way Kreider's scoring goals. It's nice to see. Listen, it's nice to see Trocheck get a couple goals because here's the problem with the Rangers. Besides what we didn't talk about yet, I'm going to let you start it. You got to get those second, third line guys scoring too. In other words, if your first line and a couple guys in your second line are the majority of the scorers, you got to get the third liner and that one guy from the second line to at least score a third of what your top guys are to add to that offense. And that's where Cooley comes in right now.
Yeah.
That's where Trocheck comes in right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys got to score. They got to score.
Yeah. I'll tell you where my concerns are, and then I'll
move to Minnesota again. We got off that.
Well, I want to go there, but I want to start. I have a thought here that I wanted to kind of talk about, and I know, right now it's being hidden with Kreider's, power play ability. I'm concerned, but not so much worried. I'm a little concerned on Mika's production right now, and the power play. He was big with that right wing slap shot, scoring goals there. Haven't seen that really much this year. I don't know. Is he holding his stick too hard? He looks to be trying to make more passes than attempts to score, but. I'm a little concerned with Mika not being as hot as I'm used to Mika being.
I agree. He's not producing with the numbers that we're used to, but it isn't because he's not getting the chances, Paul. It's not, and it isn't because he's not working. He's getting that one-timer off. Problem is, it's not going in this year. I understand your worry, But I'm not as worried as you are about it because again they're 9-2-1.
Right. I mean,
We have this problem. We have a problem with one of our superstars on the team that's not living up to his standards right now. So, is it a bad thing? Yes, but is it a serious bad thing right now? No, it's not because they're 9-2-1 without his production.
Yeah. Well,
the power play's been unbelievable. Oh, and that's the other thing I want to remind you about. How you liking Gustafson's game now?
Yes.
I told you.
Yes.
I warned you about him. I thought early on when I saw him playing, I'm going,
yeah,
that guy's pretty good.
He is very good. He's very good.
He's not overly physical and stuff like that, but he don't make many mistakes out there.
No, he's a great. He cuts the angles down defensively very well. Yeah, he can think well in the game, and his offensive ability is definitely there. I mean, he's a lot like Foxy when trying to get that shot through where the deflection can be made and stuff like that. I'm very happy with his production. Yep.
Any of my Toronto people listening up there, I hate to say it to you, but Ottawa just scored 2 goals in like minus 5 seconds, and it's now 5-3 Ottawa in Toronto. So you guys can cover up the parade floats for the Stanley Cup now. Don't take the covers off yet.
Oh my God, you're brutal.
Wow. So it is up there, big boy. You don't get it. You think hockey's passionate down here? You should see what it's like in Toronto and in Montreal. Places like that. If they win a game, if any of those teams win a game and they beat a top team, everybody's already routing the map for the parade.
Cuts, before we finish up with some of this.
Oh, by the way,
what do you
San Jose got their first win last night against who?
The Flyers, right?
Your favorite coach.
Yeah.
They beat your favorite coach for their first win of the year. Come on. Your boy Torts.
Nobody better than the piss all over. The Toronto Maple Leafs, man. Oh boy.
I did say it to you on the last show. Listen, I told you their defense and their goaltending is still suspect. Walls played pretty good for them. Samsonov got pulled the other night, okay, after giving up 4-1 to Tampa. And the Leafs came back and beat them. You know what I mean? But still.
Yeah.
I don't trust their defense at all. I think they're all big, soft players on their defense. There's no physical guy at all that hits anybody hard on that defense. And it's a big difference because if I'm a forward playing against your team and I know that those guys are soft, I have absolutely no fear. I'm going to be so reckless going into the corners to get the puck, so reckless to go to the front of the net, so reckless along the boards because I know you're going to hit me with like my marshmallows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how you can see players that take advantage of that in this league. A guy like Kachuk in Florida, you know what I mean? He takes advantage of that stuff. Everybody talks about, how dirty he is at times, which he is, but he takes advantage of knowing that guy's not going to do nothing to me. Yeah. The Oilers, my God. You keep talking about how they're going to turn it around. Well, they ain't turning it around. I've been saying it for years. They got the greatest scoring machine in the modern day of hockey, and they got the worst defenseman goaltending in modern day hockey.
Yeah,
they just put Campbell on waivers.
Yeah,
they give him a 5-year deal for $25 million. He don't give a fuck. He's going to the minors. He's going to make $5 million. You know where he's going? Right to the back of the bus, and he's going to own the back of the bus. Okay? He's going to have his beer cans waiting and everything back there. He don't care.
He don't give a fuck. He'll drive himself to the game.
But, that stop a puck, and the paycheck wherever I am. You don't care.
No.
It's just it's. I told you in the last show. I'm saying it again. They should all be fired. Everybody that has anything to do with the team itself, from trainer to stick boy, all the way up to management and everything in between, should all be fired. Every one of them.
All right. So we are going to start here with some of the topic that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to put it up there. Big Ben, Kotze. Last week, the Rangers had a 3-0 lead on the Minnesota Wild. And what looked to be, and I'm not, I can't sit here and blame one person, but what looked to be a slam dunk, easy game, turned out to be the Rangers' first loss in 6. Jonathan Quick stole them a point.
Yeah.
But I want to break down some of this game. And I put Big Ben in there for a reason. The fourth line of Minnesota just ate the Rangers' defense up.
They did.
Pat Maroon looked like an all-star out there.
Foligno and who's it? The other guy that annoyed me that night was Erickson Eck. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
They're going around yapping at Ranger players and pushing Ranger players after the whistle. I'm like, who's this guy? But they did it.
So, Katz. Now, I thought to myself, okay, Quick did steal a point there. Now, you got to help me because this is where I think my mindset is because I listened to Laviolette's. He said, yeah, they played us physical, but, we weren't fast enough. We didn't play fast enough.
Well, they didn't play good either. Once they took the 3-0 lead, they played like shit afterwards.
Exactly. I agree. But watching the defense just get, turned up there. I thought, and I had said to a couple of people, I thought that if Shesterkin had played, and I think I texted you this, Shesterkin is so good with handling the puck. Maybe sometimes, with his ability to get behind the net and move the puck so well, that really stops a team's forecheck. And it's one of the reasons why I like the 1-3-1 for this team right now, or the left wing lock, whatever you want to call it, because Shesterkin is so good. When you have 3 guys in the neutral zone, it's very hard to carry the puck in. So it usually forces a team to either soft dump or hard dump the puck around, right? With Shesterkin back there, he's very good with playing the puck. He acts like the third defenseman out there where you can move the puck. It stops that forecheck. I don't know if that's the mindset here moving forward, but I bring Big Ben into this because I say, you got Big Ben Harper. He played probably 30 games last year for the New York Rangers. I thought he played it pretty decent. And like you said, maybe not every game, but 25, 30 games a year against teams that are going to grind you. I don't understand why he's not that seventh defenseman.
You got me on that too. I thought they should have kept him up, but again, we don't know the intricacies of the cap situation. Boy, that is the Rangers are tight on the cap as far as I remember. Okay, would I like to see Ben Harper? I mean, I don't know. When I was playing in the National Hockey League, it's the same. You had 2 goaltenders, you had 18 skaters, but we always had 3 to 4 guys around after, hanging around. Okay.
Yeah.
Mind you, there was no cap back then.
Yeah.
Okay. But we almost had 3 or 4 guys hanging around. We had probably 7, 8 defensemen everywhere I played up with the big club.
Yeah.
There was Hartford, Toronto. Same thing with the forwards. There's also an extra forward or 2 around. I think the cap really puts teams in tough positions. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm not. I totally believe that, the next time they're playing Minnesota tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I'm in charge, I'm bringing up Matt Rempe, and I'm sitting Pat Pitlick. Okay? I'm bringing him up for sure. because I want him to go up against Maroon and have a little chat with him and say, hey, play hockey tonight. None of your bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Harper, he plays physical. He's probably, as Trouba is probably the most physical defenseman on the team, but I'd say Harper, when he was playing last year, was more physical than Schneider, where Schneider started out physical, playing physical hockey. He's not as much anymore for some reason. I have no idea why, but I don't understand it, how you don't project your lineup ahead of time knowing which teams you're going to play. When you don't need to have all these guys in the lineup every game. It's pretty obvious the way the NHL is today, Paulie. It's just the way it is. You're not going into the big bad Boston Bruins anymore, or the big big bad Philadelphia, the Broad Street Bullies. I mean, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
But a game where that they have a fourth line that like Maroon and Foligno and Eriksson Ek, all guys that are way over 6'2", 6'3", and even taller. You got to have something to match that. And that's what got them back in the game. Minnesota got back in the game, not by their skill. They got back in the game because they hemmed the Rangers in. And I can remember watching that game, and there was a lot of shifts there where they were on the ice, that fourth line, and the Ranger players couldn't get off the ice.
Right.
There was a couple of minute and a half, 2 minute and change for some of the players because they couldn't get the puck out of their own zone. So, yeah, I'd like to see Ben Harper come up. But, again, it's a cap situation. I don't know what the hell the situation is with that, Paulie. But, same thing when we play Washington. We haven't played Washington yet. I'd like to see Rempe come up for that game, too. Matt Rempe, play forward. Play right against Tom Wilson, just so Tom Wilson can't go run a Lindgren or can't run a Fox or anybody like that. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see that. I think a lot of fans would like to see that, but it's a cap situation. Who do you send down, and how does the money work, and all this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I totally agree with you. They're going to have to figure out a way for games like that. There might be another half dozen or so that are going to be like that all year. And the last thing you can do is avoid the physicality of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that intricate with the cap either, but I do know when you place your players on long-term
IR. Yeah. He's going to miss 10 games for sure.
Right.
I understand.
And
that other guy, I don't even want to talk about that other guy that's on the injured reserve right
now. Let me finish my thought, and then we can talk about that. I'm pretty sure there's space where on the cap, where if a guy is out 10 games on the long-term injured reserve list, you could bring a guy up, and it doesn't hurt your cap. It doesn't hit your cap space the way you might think. It's not like you have an able-bodied player. You don't, and that's why.
I get that. I'm talking about a permanent keep.
Right. I get it.
But a permanent Rempe, a permanent Harper.
Right.
You don't have to play every game. They can be part of the Black Aces every day, which I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Where you get their ass skated off every day and be ready when you're called upon. That's all.
Right. So hopefully we see that, but I don't know with the press conferences. Laviolette's viewing the game quite the way we are, and it was brought up in one of the press conferences about Minnesota's ability to be physical.
I think he's viewing it the way we view it, but I don't think he's going to publicly announce that.
Right. But he hasn't made a lineup change that would.
I don't. But again, like I said, he's not going to publicly do it. He's not going to come out and do that yet, because I think there's still money problems one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, I don't see any big roster moves. I see.
Beth, how you doing, Beth? She popped up. Harper, 787,000. It took me Let me see. It took me almost 4 years in Toronto. I made a little more than that in 4 years in Toronto. Just letting you know that.
So, with that being said, man, I didn't see any roster changes for, and Minnesota's mindset tomorrow, I bet you, is going to be bang the fucking shit out of the Rangers.
Sure, because they beat the Islanders last night.
I mean, well, and honestly, if you watch that game, Maroon was on the ice every other fucking shift. That line was on the ice
because it was a smart move by the coach there, Dean Emerson, knowing that this was getting their team going. So then, eventually, what happened is the Rangers kind of just were worn down, and then their offense kind of took over. But you got to give the Rangers credit; they came back, tied the game. Took it to overtime and then lost it in some stupid, bullshit shootout or whatever you want to call it.
Anywho, I'm worried about the physical end.
I am too. In the long run, I think they're gonna. But I think in the long run, Paulie, I don't think it's going to be a bigger problem until playoffs start. How's that? Well, that's when you're going to need that beef. Because look at Vegas again. What are they? 10-1-1, something like that.
Yeah, 11. I think they're 11-1-1.
They're what's the words? They're skilled, they're fast, and they play heavy.
Yeah. Let me see here. I think they're 11-1-1, man. I pulled it up.
But they
11-1-1, 13 games, 23 points. They have the best record in hockey right now.
Yeah.
Boston's behind them with number 2.
They got all angles covered when it comes to what you need to play hockey in today's game.
Yeah. So, scared of Maroon, yeah. And then I guess the last thing I have is quietly being spoken here. I didn't see. You might have. I was in Nashville.
That's right. Paulie was on holidays while I was working hard, guys. Just like you know.
Was there a specific incident with Shesterkin where he got hurt?
He kind of got bumped, but not really, and the leg kind of went out. At first, when I first saw it, I didn't see anything with it. You know what I mean?
But he played the
I honestly didn't see anything with it like that. And why is he hurt? But I don't want to. I learned a long time ago. Okay, when you watch players get hurt in your dressing room and on the ice and stuff like that, there was a time where all of us were like, we'd be suspect of you. You know what I mean? We would be like you're faking it and stuff like that. But nobody knows their body better than the person.
Right.
Okay? Not a doctor, not a trainer, not the head doctors for the team. Know what's going on pain-wise, but that player himself.
Right.
So I will not be one of those that say, that he's not hurt. Didn't look like it on the play, Paulie. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? These days, everything's going to be a little bit. They stretch it out these days to make sure. And a player is the only one that knows how he feels. A doctor can come in and diagnose what he wants with you, Paulie.
Sure.
But you only know as a person how you feel.
So
I trust him.
Well, it's important because Jonathan Quick actually is on day-to-day now too.
Well, they brought up Dominique and all that. Quick's going to play tomorrow. I'm pretty sure.
I actually I had read that they brought up both Domingue and what's his name, Granlund. So, I don't know, man. I hope Shesterkin plays tomorrow, but we'll have to see. And then
Matthew, I saw the thing about Knuckles too. Let me tell you about Knuckles. Knuckles is one of the best ever
talkers,
tough guys to give his team a jolt he knew the right time to pull in the shenanigans. He was one of the best at it.
Right.
But that being said, what he said about Reeves on his podcast, he's a Montreal Canadian. Think about this first. He's in Montreal right now. He's a Montreal Canadian, and there's no love for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay? So you can take what Knuckles said with a grain of salt.
Didn't he play for Boston too, though?
Oh, he played for New York. He was a Montreal. Chris Now is like famous for Montreal. Period.
Oh yeah.
And he was one of the best at it. I played that era. I watched him. I played against him in the American Hockey League. I got nothing but great things to say about Chris Now about what he did in his career. Was one of the smartest shit disturbers the NHL ever had. Ever. He was smart. He was very smart. He knew when. He knew when to cause it. When his team was like sort of lagging in Montreal, he knew when to stir it up. But him, bashing Reeves, he's a Montreal Canadian. You're in Montreal. Chris is doing a podcast in Montreal. Chris is doing stuff for the Montreal Canadiens. You don't think he's going to say anything nice about a Toronto Maple Leaf, do you?
That's hilarious. It's true, but it's hilarious. So,
Barry's got a good question. I wondered if you told the trainer about something that has bothered the trainer. Is the trainer obligated into telling management? Let me tell you, back in the days when I played, trainers always went by what the coaches said. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's not that way today. A trainer will intervene with coaches today. Not back then. Back then, you sucked it up, and the trainers, got you ready to go. Plain and simple. It's a different thing, Barry. We're talking about multi-million-dollar players now. You're not just a piece of shit now. You're a commodity to these owners. So if I got a contract, if I had a contract today, I'd probably be somewhere in the $4 to $6 million mark in the middle of my career. Say I got a 5-year deal for that. You don't think they want me to make sure I'm healthy now? You know what I mean? When I'm getting paid that kind of money. But when you're not getting paid that kind of money, they could give two shits. It's true.
Yeah.
Unless you were a superstar. If you were a superstar, it's a different story.
So tomorrow night, what do you expect, Cots?
Well, I expect them to play a full 60. They kind of took off the third period last night. They played great for 2 periods. Let's call it what it was. They were ready. They were fired up. They were faster. They had better chances. It could have been worse, scoring wise. But the third period, they kind of I think they got a little too greedy. Kept trying to score more goals instead of, and kind of locked on their defense. Now, I expect them to come out pretty good tomorrow night. The physicality part, well, you know what? They all talked about it. I saw some of the quotes from some of the players after that game. We'll see if they live up to their end of the deal. Time for Trouba to step up physically. Time for Schneider to lay a few bodies out. Will Cooley, But see, that's the problem we have. Why we had that discussion, Paulie. Kreider should be one of the guys hitting people too.
I know.
But he doesn't do it anymore. You got to look at who's capable. Who is actually capable of playing a physical game for the New York Rangers in their lineup right now? Trouba, Schneider, Lindgren. Okay? Cooley.
Lingering against Maroon.
Trocheck a little bit. He plays physical.
He does.
Bonino will hit somebody.
Oh,
that's it. But that's it after a while.
But, Lindgren can't handle Maroon.
Guys that actually hit with a little bit of meaning, I'm talking about. I think Pitlick might do it once. He hasn't played enough, but I don't know. Oh, I forgot about Goodrow. Yeah, Goodrow hit somebody. These guys have to be there when that stuff happens. They have to show their side that they can do that.
Yeah, well,
you hit our guy, we hit your guy. That's the way the game's played. You hit our star, we're going to hit your star.
Well, I'm talking about the grinding down low. The defense
I know what you're talking about.
You know? Gustafson, Lindgren, Jones.
How about you get the puck out of your end and you don't have to worry about that shit?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we'll see tomorrow what it brings. I don't know if it'll bring a lesson and some reevaluation. We'll have to see. But overall, listen, this team's hot. Panarin is leading the charge. I'm going to end with this with the show. I mean, for everybody who ever talks shit about Panarin, boy, oh boy, you eating your words now. This guy is the hottest thing in the world right now. His game is really on. I really haven't seen him much as a detriment as we did last year. I mean, there was times where you shook your head like, "Oh my God, what is this guy doing?" I think the bald Panarin, the bald bread is really upped his game here. I'd like to see Mika get going again because she's a big part of what this team is, man. If Mika can get going, this team could become, red, smoking, fiery hot, man. If Mika could get his game going, and he can start burying the puck. He doesn't look like he's playing with confidence. He looks like he's kind of grabbing hold of the stick a little bit tough. So I think that once that happens, and then I got to tell you, I'm waiting for the experiment with I kind of, Kako is on the third line now, and I guess that's fine. But I want to see with this team what they're going to do with the Blake Wheeler experiment because I thought he looked really slow last night, and I just I don't. I don't understand the position on the top line there. So I'm not the coach, but we'll see what happens.
Panarin obviously has heard all the whispers of his playoff performances. It's obvious, but players have pride. Okay, and I think he's taking that seriously this year. That he's going to show. He's going to show everybody, and I'm happy that he's playing the way he is right now. There's no question about it. Now the other, before I'm going to finish the show up with, what do we do with Filipino?
What are you doing? I think obviously, and we spoke about this. That line was going, but I get it, man. He's constantly hurt. The kid can't stay healthy. So I don't know if he has a bad upper body from the past and he's not just healed properly or what, but he's usually out every year. He probably misses 20 games a year, man.
He had 0 goals, Paulie.
Yeah,
0 goals.
He's got some points though, doesn't he?
Oh, no. He had 0 goals. That's all I know.
Fair. He's got some points though.
7th season, he had 0 goals.
I get it. So, I mean, I don't think the Rangers are going to trade him, Chris. I think if they're going to trade anybody, they should package Wheeler and Kako. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I don't think they're going to trade him, Chris. I think they see too much upside. My concern with him is I understand you say he's got 0 goals, and I'm really not too worried about that end of it. But
I'm worried about it. I've been worried about it from the get-go. I've been hearing about this guy for 7 years now. Can't stay in the lineup. Listen, I was there at Madison Square Gardens with the alumni opening day. We went to the pregame skate to watch them, and he'd have looked the part as an 18-year-old. He looked the part in the pregame skate in the morning, the practice in the morning. He looked, and I'm like, wow, who is this guy? Look at him skate. Look at him this. Look at him that. Look at him this. And I was sitting there talking with Ron Duguay. We're like, yeah, look at this guy. Now, even Adam Graves was like, yeah, we're all standing there talking. And I've seen nothing since then.
Yeah.
That gives him this leeway that everybody gives him.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's my final thing.
I think the difference between him and Kako, and even at times Lafreniere, is that everyone sees the upside on him. Maybe he hasn't shown it, but they see it.
It's the 7th year. It's the downside now.
I don't know, man. There's a reason why
What's
they
this upside
signed
going
him.
to happen? 31, 32, 33 when he goes back to Czechoslovakia or something like that? When's it
Listen,
going to happen?
there's a reason why they signed him. There's a reason why he was on the line with Panarin. You know, I don't know, man. Somebody's got to see something in him.
Well,
But like you said, I think my biggest concern with him, more than anything else, is he can't stay in the lineup, and that's a problem. He's too young to be out of the lineup all the time. I think he has an upper body injury that is very sad. I think he's got some bad shoulder or something, and every time he takes a good hard crunch, seems to just not sit up very right for him, and then he misses time, and that's a big part of the problem with him, man. Is he can't stay in the fucking lineup, and that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
you and I both have our pet peeves, and we're allowed to, so I'm not going to disagree with you. But he's my pet peeve. You got yours. I got mine. He's my pet peeve. He's just never lived up to any of the adulation that he's got, as far as I'm concerned. He's never lived up
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you
at all.
I don't disagree with you, but neither have the other two. Neither has Kako.
They're also not in their 7th year either.
I get it, but
they're not in their 7th year. They're not in their 5th year. They're not in their 6th year.
They're not close to
so we can hold off even a little more on those guys if you're going to say that about this guy.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's got a concussion, personally. That's what I think he's got.
Oh, well.
That's what I think he's got. It's not his first one.
Yeah. I know that he's weak up top. I don't know. But I did watch it. He's
not that small a guy.
No, he's a big man.
Play with a little bit of physicality. He won't run into people by mistake.
I'm going to be honest with you. I watched a video, and the guy's got legs like a fucking tree trunk, man. He's not a small guy. He's thick, So I don't know, Kotz. I really don't know. I know
it would be nice for him to come back, be healthy, first of all, and actually live up to half of what everybody thinks he is.
Yeah.
Then I would keep my mouth shut for a while. For a while only. But until that happens, I'm not.
Well, I think he looked pretty good this year, Kotz. I know he didn't have any goals, or did he have? Are you sure he didn't have any goals? I thought he had a couple goals.
You're dreaming. You're in La La Land. You had like 6 assists or something like that, and 0 goals.
Okay.
Look it up. You got time.
Yeah. Pitlick, blah, blah, blah. Why isn't it even listed here? Come on. Cheadles. Philip Cheadles.
And?
I'm waiting for this thing to load up. Philip Cheadle. Let's see his stats here. No goals. He's got no goals. You're exactly right.
You can't defend that. It's impossible to defend that.
Yeah.
He's by everybody else and you, he's not a fourth liner. He's not even a third liner.
You know, he had 45 points last year, right?
Yeah, in his 6th year. Yeah.
He was
In his
22
6th year.
goals, 23 assists.
Yeah, in his 6th year, yeah.
And he only played 74 games.
Yeah.
He has not completed a season yet. The most games he's played in a year is 75. That's not good. He's too young for that shit,
Listen,
man.
I would get it. I would get it if he played a physical game, because if you play a physical game, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But he takes more than he gives. That's all.
He did have a pretty good year, though. He was a plus 15 last year, too.
Yeah, but so was a whole bunch of guys on that team.
I know, but we're talking about him.
Okay, good. So why don't you look up the other 2 guys in their first 3 years that everybody shits on? See their stats compared to Hedo's first 3 years, and they're better. They're better than his.
I'm sure they are. Well,
but you know what? Again, I will keep my mouth shut if he comes back and he actually produces. That's all. Just produce. Please produce. That's all. Stay healthy, because that bodes well for the New York Rangers if you come back and you play well.
Always hurt, the guy say. He's always hurt. Off topic, Bukati, did you ever play?
I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. Where did he play? Who did he play with? I don't know. The name doesn't sound familiar. Doesn't sound familiar at all.
Matt, you'd be surprised at Hedo's lower body, though, man. He's got tree trunks for legs, man. I know, I don't know much about the upper body, but he was doing those Chris Kreider jumps. Not too shabby, man.
No, then there. Barry only played 1 year in Toledo. That's it. It was worse. It was worse than the Slapshot League.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I'll be very interested to see the lineup and how the game progresses. I think Minnesota comes out trying to play.
There's really nothing to complain about, except we're finding things right now. They're 9-2-1, even though they lost to Minnesota. I don't think anybody expected them to be 9-2-1. At this point of the season.
I'm not complaining. I'm just bringing up a situation.
No, we definitely have to bring up the weaknesses on the team. What they need to do to win a Stanley Cup, possibly, to at least be a contender for one.
Yeah. So that's what we need. We need a championship. This team is, a one cup in 85 years, 87 years is it's a bit much, man.
Hey, Richard, tell Matt Buse next time he's got to pick up the check when Paulie and I come to Vincent's. We'll order 3 meals apiece, me and Paulie.
Oh, you're in for it, Matty. Man, Mike, he's got his foot on the gas over there.
Oh,
it's hilarious. All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
we're done.
Children of all ages.
I got to see how my Leaf fans are doing.
It hasn't been real nice. We're out. I hope to see you next week. We'll keep you posted probably Tuesday. I would think Tuesday would be the day, but we will see. Catsie's been drinking all night, Barry.
Barry, Jesus,
what are you, blind? He's empty. He needs you to go get him another one.
Yeah, Barry.
All right, gentlemen.
Hey, we still need sponsors out there. Somebody get us sponsors.
Yeah. God bless. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Ciao.
And with that being said, it's time to go. But I wanted to end it the right way. It didn't work out. I wanted to do the countdown. We're out. Good night, guys.